Okay, good morning everybody and Hazak Baruch. Welcome to our Thursday morning class. Today's class has been sponsored anonymously for the Refuah Shlema of all of Am Yisrael. Okay everybody, I would like to actually discuss today a very interesting midah. Okay, it's a trait that you may not necessarily study often. Okay, it's a trait that's found in the book of Mesilat Yesharim. Okay, Mesilat Yesharim is a sefer that was written by Rav Moshe Chaim Lotzato. Okay, Ramchal, an Italian scholar, Kabbalist, Talmudist, and he has over here in his magnum opus a must read, a must have. His book called Mesilat Yesharim, which is the path of the just. Not sure how you want to translate it, where he basically helps us. It's a book on self-help. Okay, it's a book on growth. And he helps us build from level to level to level, working on ourselves. And this is a type of book that the goal is not to finish it. Okay, does that make sense? The goal of the book is to read a page, internalize it. Okay, there's no speed. Okay, it's not about collecting information. It's about conquering every step. And he bases his book on the step system of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Okay, I don't know if you heard of him. He's a big rabbi. And he has a statement. His statement says that one begins working from what's the first thing we should work on? Zehirut. Okay? Then go to Zerizut. Okay? Then Nikiyut. Then Pettyshoot. Then Tahara. Then Chasidut. Then Anava, Yirat Chet. And the last one is Kedusha. And he explains every single one. Okay? Now, we're not going to explain them all. We're not going to explain, really, that's not this class. But I want to talk today, I want to actually jump and skip I want to touch on midah, on the trait of tahara. Tahara is purity, okay? Now, to appreciate, if you're learning about purity, that means you already graduated and conquered and mastered the first 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, okay? So just imagine what kind of Jew we're talking about. We're talking about a Jew who already has zehirut. What does zehirut mean? That means he's watchful. He's careful not to violate any sins. He knows I can't do that. That's a sin. Okay, he's zahid. They're watching. The person is also zariz, running an alacrity to do mitzvot. So you're talking about a guy or a girl conquered averot, doing mitzvot with excitement. You're talking about someone who also conquered Nikiyut. Nikiyut is really hard to translate. We translate it as cleanliness, but it means to remove any personal, maybe we're biased. Maybe we have averot, but we don't see them because we have an agenda. We're, biased. So therefore, Nikiyut is being able to look at ourselves with an unbiased perspective. Okay. By the way, I'm reading a book now, excellent book on motivation. Okay. If you don't have this one, strongly recommended. Okay. Rabbi Ariel Kaplan. Okay. Jewish Meditation, a practical guide. Okay. Excellent book where he really, first of all, explains what is meditation and what are the benefits and then how to do it, okay? But one of the ideas of meditation is to be able to tap into our subconscious, okay? Meditation is about controlling our thoughts. And one of the ideas, also one of the benefits of meditation is that we get to kind of leave our bodies and look at us through our mind's eye from an outside perspective. Does that make sense? So it's looking at ourselves without being subjective. Okay, from an objective perspective. Okay, that's Nikiyut a little bit. Nikiyut is removing my subjectivity, because sometimes we do things because we're biased to ourselves. Okay, then we go on to Pettyshoot. Pettyshoot, again, I'm not going to explain it to you in depth, and you're not going to appreciate what I'm going to tell you right now. So if you have any questions, please don't go off the derech because of this. But Pettyshoot means to stay away from permissible things. Okay? So you're allowed to drive a nice car. Pettyshoot means maybe do with just a Toyota or a Honda or whatever, You're allowed to have an Armani suit, but you don't need an Armani suit. Is it a sin to have an Armani suit? Not a sin. If it's shatnez, then yes, but if it's not, right, it's not a sin. But Pettyshoot means to stay away from permissible things. Now, again, why in the world do I need to do that? It's a very long conversation, but sometimes a person realizes that these things are actually causing him to fall in his spirituality, right? Nothing wrong with having a BMW, but I'm shampooing it and washing it every day for 5 hours, so I'm wasting 5 hours a day on my nice car. If I had a Toyota, I wouldn't do that. So that's a waste of time. A person that has a nice suit is always careful who's going to get it dirty. If a tiny thing falls on it, he's going to, go ape. Oh, my suit, right? Okay, so if this is what a suit is doing to you, then you're better off just wearing a little Calvin Klein or something small and, Zara, whatever, and no, you don't care. $300, $200 suit, and if something happens, no big deal. Okay. And again, each one we need to spend a year on by itself. Okay, so I don't expect you to appreciate or understand any of these. But just to put into perspective the type of Jew that Ramchal is now talking to. Talking about a Jew that staying away from Averot, doing mitzvot, removing subjectivity, staying away from even permissible things. He's eating, the guy, he don't get the pizza with the vegetables. He just gets the regular slice and no sauce even. Whatever's the quickest slice that you have ready. Whatever's ready, give it to me. Now, the next one, number 5, is something called tahara. Okay? What is purity? Purity is very interesting. It's not the same as the other 4. Because the other 4 are really dictating our action. This one is telling me not what to do, but why I do it. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself, why did you eat breakfast today? Did you ask yourself that question when you did it? Why do you go to work? It's amazing because so much of what we do in our lives, we don't even think about. Most of our decisions are made for us. We think we have free will. Obviously, we have free will. But a lot of times the decisions that we make in life are kind of made for us. Where I'm going to live, what kind of job I'm going to have, what kind of person I'm going to marry. These are the big decisions in life. But because I grew up in a community, I'm going to marry this type of girl. She may be a little bit taller, shorter, richer, poorer. Overall, this is the type of girl I'm going to marry. I never really thought about, should I marry a girl from, Asia, or should I marry someone from Australia? Again, Jewish, not Jewish. These are not thoughts that I had even. Of course, Jewish, that's what everyone does. Of course, she's going to be Syrian, that's what everyone does. This is who I am, this is what I do. I'm going to go and get this job, I'm going to live in this place, I'm going to pray in that shul. This is how I'm going to, this is how we dress on Shabbat. These are decisions that were kind of made for us. We still have free will in other areas, but we don't have exclusive free will. You should just know that. You don't have free will on everything, okay? Rav Dessler discusses this. It's called the Nekudat Bechira. You don't have free will on every single particular detail of your life. Because many of the things that are being decided in life, we kind of do by rote, we do automatically, we do because that's just the way we were raised, okay? It's not really an option for me, at least, if I was going to marry someone who was Jewish or not. Of course, I was marrying a Jew. So my free will is limited. Okay, it's limited. We all have free will, but it's limited. Okay. So many of the things that we do in our day-to-day, by the way, is just, we end up doing them because we end up being robotic. Yeah? We wake up, we eat, we go to pray, we go to work, we have breakfast, we have lunch, we have dinner. Why are we doing these things? We don't really think. We have our first 25 years of our lives are kind of mapped out. You're going to go to elementary school, you're going to go to high school, you're going to go to college, maybe a year of yeshiva in between, and you're going to get... We have 25 years, and then you're going to get married, and you're going to have 4 or 5 kids, 6 if you're very lucky, 3 if tuition's tight. Everything is decided pretty much. This is like the mold that we grow up in. Tahara means asking yourself, what's your motivation? What's your kavanah? What are you pure in thought? A person with tahara. So again, we conquered the first 4 levels of Mesilat Yesharim, assuming. So he's not even eating a steak. The guy's eating bread and salt. But why are you eating bread and salt? If the guy's doing it for the enjoyment, so then it's a little bit tainted, his kavanah. The kavanah should be that this is a means to an end. I'll give you an example. Can I give you an example? And again, I hope I'm not preaching very far today. I'm just trying to keep it light. None of this is light. But I'll give you an example. You go on a vacation. You plan an itinerary. What's on your itinerary? Going to go to see Mickey Mouse. Then we're going to have lunch. And we're going to go to, this ride. And we're going to go see this fireworks show. Right? You plan out your day at Disney. Okay? You're driving, you're gonna do a road trip. Okay, you plan, we're gonna go to Mount Rushmore, we're gonna go to, the Glacier National Park, we're gonna go Yosemite, we're gonna do, Arizona, we're gonna go see everything. Now, do you include in your itinerary to stop and fill up gas? Is that part of your itinerary? Not really, right? You need gas, you got gas. Right? What happens? Your car gets low, so you fill up. Do you make an activity out of filling up gas? Like, all right, everyone, come, let's fill up. Here we go, smile, cheese, right? With the mobile sign behind you. You fill up gas because you got to fill up gas because you want to keep driving. But not only that, you're actually upset that you had to stop your trip to fill up gas. You understand? Person's annoyed. Ugh, why do I gotta fill up gas? Alright, here we go. 5 minutes now, gone to the garbage, right? But we do it. But we realize that I wish I had maybe a car that didn't need gas, right? But this is the reality, so I'm gonna do it. Purity means having that same mentality and attitude to the day-to-day activities. I need to eat, of course. Am I going to stop and eat? Yes, I will. But person that achieved tahara feels the same way the guy who has to fill up gas feels. Oh, what do I have to do this for? I'm in the middle of doing chesed. I'm in the middle of doing a mitzvah. I'm learning. Oh, I got to stop. Chacham Ovadia Yosef, they used to have to stop him. Rabbi, it's time to eat lunch. All right, let's go. What's for lunch? Let's get it over with. Let's go. Right? Lunch wasn't like, he just did it quickly. And by the way, we know what this looks like. We've attained this level. If you're in the middle of watching the Super Bowl, crazy game. You have to go eat. So like you're running to eat, but like you're staring at this the whole time, right? You're not like, oh yeah, go sit down, eat, take your time. What do you mean take your time? I'm in the middle of watching a crazy game. So we're running, we're eating, we're watching the game, right? As fast as it goes. What do you want to eat for dinner? I don't care, Mom. It's a Super Bowl. Just make whatever. Make the wings. Make whatever you want. Just quickly. I don't have time to waste. Just make whatever you want. A person with tahara reaches this level that they realize that sleeping, drinking, eating, these are a means to an end. So I need to sleep, but why am I sleeping? Okay? Now Ramchal then adds a curveball. Ramchal says that you should know something very important. Tzarich sheteda, he says. Bear in mind. Just like there should be purity of thought, of motivation, in behavior that relates to the bodily needs. He says, Kach shayach taharat hamachshava b'ma'asim hatovim. There should also be purity of thought in observance of the mitzvot. Says Ramchal, just like you need tahara for eating, sleeping, drinking, you also need tahara for wearing tefillin, putting tzitzit, lighting Shabbat candles. Why do you do those mitzvot? Why are you doing them? The point of why we should do the mitzvot, sometimes we forget. I don't know, it's just, that's what we do. We light Shabbat candles when Shabbat begins. I don't know. By the way, that's what the goal of a beracha is. The beracha is there to get me into a space that I can realize, Baruch atah Hashem, blessed are you God, Elokeinu melech haolam, my God and Master of the world, Asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav. You sanctify us through the mitzvot. I am doing now Hashem's will. I am doing now what God wants me to do. A bracha is there to get me into the right motivation and frame of mind, into the tahara process of a mitzvah. Because you could go through life and do mitzvot, and you could have not the right reasons. And he says there are 3 reasons of why a person would do a mitzvah. The worst one of all is the guy does it to deceive. The guy does it to show other people that he's religious. Guy could go to shul because he's trying to give people the impression that he's religious, and so now do business with me. And really the guy's a cheater. The guy's a thief. The guy's filled with deception. So he's doing a mitzvah for a negative reason. She'eno oved l'shem avodah klal ela l'ramot b'nei ha'adam u'larviach kavod o mamon. Person does it because they want money. They want honor. That's for a negative reason. You shouldn't do things for honor. You shouldn't do things for money. You shouldn't do things because you want to be praised. That's the wrong motivation. Then you have a second motivation, and that's you're doing it because you're going to get rewarded. Right? Whatever that reward looks like. Reward can come in many shapes and forms. A person could keep Shabbat because he heard that Shabbat is the Mekor HaBeracha. Shabbat is the source of blessing. And if you keep Shabbat, you're going to have a good week in business. So that's what we call Shelo Lishma. That's not altruistic. Person keeps kosher because they're afraid that if they eat not kosher, they're going to get bad things found in their blood work. So again, person's doing the right thing for the wrong reason. So he has, the actions are fine, he doesn't have tahara yet. Okay? Now, the Rambam encourages this level, you should know. And our rabbis encourage this level. Our rabbis say in Pirkei Avot, mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma. Do things for the wrong motivation because it's through that avenue that you come to the right motivation. Okay? Meaning, we need to do things for lo lishma reasons. We need to be motivated by not pure things. I'll give you an example. In shul, people come to shul, why? Come to pray, right? Some people come to pray because there's a nice breakfast waiting after. Okay. Anything wrong? Nothing wrong. It's not the best, but it's okay. Some people, they come to Shabbat because there's, free kiddush or arak waiting. The Rambam says it's okay. You need that, by the way, to get to the higher level. You can't jump in life. So he says, when your kid's 4 years old, how do you bring them to shul? You can't tell them, come shul, come pray. You have to give them a motivation, an incentive. So you tell them, come to pray, I'll give you a lollipop. You understand? Then when they get a little bit older, you tell them, come to pray, I'll give you a ticket to a raffle. Come a little bit older, come to pray, we're raffling a bike. Come to pray, there's a crazy breakfast. Come to pray, you'll meet a girl. Come to pray, We'll go take you to a big baseball game. Come to shul, we'll give you money. Come to shul, we'll give you a job. We'll give you meet contact, social, right? It's okay. That's okay. It's not the best, but it's an important and it's a needed step. You need that to get. Can I give you an example? Okay, I'm a strong believer in motivation, and you can't get people to really learn sometimes. That's why, by the way, this class is so impressive, because you guys are coming to learn. You're not coming for the food. There is no food. You're not coming for the money. I don't send checks to you, and you're not coming. Why are you coming here? This is a beautiful, beautiful example of lishma. You should all be very proud of yourselves. You should all give yourselves a very big pat on the back, because you are learning actually lishma. You're learning? Yeah, that's right. Woo! You're learning because you want to learn. No other reason. That's beautiful. This is lishma, by the way. This is amazing. Chazak u'baruch. Okay? But in life, we need motivation. So as an example, I'm going to give tonight a class in Mishmar in Ramaz. Okay? I'm going to give a class at Ramaz. Okay? Give me an example. There's Mishmar. 5 to school, 5 o'clock. Whoever wants to come and learn, come and learn. Now let me ask you a real question. Okay? Who in the world is staying in school after hours to learn Torah? Hazat, the kids all day long, they're learning. Their mind's fried. They want to go, right? So, you need a motivation. Now the motivation has to be a good one. So sometimes the school puts cookies and juice. All right, I mean, if that's what works. I don't believe that's working over here with these kids, at least. So we bring every week. Costs money. The school doesn't do it, we do it in the shul. We come in, we bring in food. And we bring in holy schnitzel. Again, it's, what is it, $10, $12, $15 sandwich. But it just removes that extra yetzer hara to not come to class. When there's food, there's a motivation. There's food. Let me show you how beautifully this actually does work. Okay? So last week, I got to the school, and it was the first week that we're doing it this year, because September was holidays, and then we started this month. So last week I was in the school. I get there with the holy schnitzel, and I'm waiting outside. The security, they don't know me. They're trying to get my ID. Okay, as I'm waiting for them, 5 o'clock, 5:01, 5:02, the kids start leaving. Now they all know me because I've spoken to them a couple of times. So the ones that know me, they're like, "Oh, Rabbi Miz, what's going on? Good to see you." So, hey, how's it going? Are you joining us for Mishmar? And they're like, "Oh, I wish I knew. I gotta go." All right. What are you gonna do? You can't force a kid to stay. So I said, okay, no problem. We got holy schnitzel, and maybe next week you'll come. We're bringing food every time. So the kid sees the holy schnitzel. He's like, actually, you know what, Rabbi? I think I could stay. What time is it till? Now this is not one kid or two kids, like 10 kids. When they saw that there's going to be food, they ended up staying for the class. That's a beautiful thing. That's mitoch shelo lishma, balishma. And we have to be wise and ask ourselves how we can create a motivation for those people around us that we're trying to get to do certain things. We're trying to get our kids, we're trying to get our family, trying to get people around us to do certain things. We have to create for them an incentive. Okay, we can't expect them to be lishma. We can't expect them to have tahara, purity. Like we get there after many, 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 many years. Okay, I'm not there yet. Okay, but we get there through shelo lishma. We do things for the wrong reason, and slowly we'll end up doing it. One day, the Rambam says, slowly keep doing it, just keep going, keep going, keep going. Eventually you'll learn to appreciate the right reason. Okay? Now, it's very important that in our day, we have this a little small island. Something in our day that we do altruistically, or maybe in our week at least. We have to make sure. Can I give you an example? Maybe diamonds, yeah? Any gemologists over here? So maybe you know about diamonds. Okay? What's a diamond? A diamond is a beautiful diamond, right? A diamond's a diamond. I don't have to explain to you what a diamond is. Now, sometimes a diamond will have a little flaw, little tiny crack, yeah? And they're rated. I think it's the GIA. What's the company, right? They rate the diamond. The color, the clarity. Now, sometimes you have clarity that's like, I or SI. Or you could have a VSI, right? Depending on the crack and how small and how visible it is to the naked eye. Now, if there's a imperfection, does it mean that it's not a diamond? No, it's still a diamond. It's still a diamond. But you should know that it's not perfect. If we do a mitzvah, it's still a mitzvah, but it's not perfect. Okay, here he's talking about trying to get a perfect diamond. Okay, and we should know that in Shamayim, when we get to Shamayim after 120, we're going to have a lot of angels. A lot of angels waiting there. Angels that we created from our mitzvot. But the angels are only going to be as pure as the kavanah was. So sometimes a person did a mitzvah for a very, very bad reason. So there is an angel there, but the angel may be handicapped. The angel could be in a wheelchair, right? Some people, they're going to get to Shamayim, and they're going to have an old age home waiting for them. They're going to have a hospital filled with angels from all the mitzvot that they did that were impure. Okay, but when we get there, I remember, I'll tell you a personal story. When I was in Kolel, okay, let me just give you a quick example of what Kolel is like, okay? Okay, you're in Kolel, you're studying, and you need money to live. So they understand that you need to live, so they pay you. Now, how much do you think they're paying you? Okay? So the Kolel that I was in, if you're lucky, this is a good one. Again, I'm sure there are others that pay a lot more. But the circles, the normal average is $1,000 a month. Could you imagine? $1,000 a month, you learn first and second Seder. That means from 9 to 1, and then again from 3 to 6. So your day, till 6 o'clock, you're learning all day. You're not doing it for the money, but you need the money to live. So you're getting $1,000. Okay? Again, you're learning, you're in school. It's like college. Anyone in college, a doctor, they're not making money, right? They're studying to become one day a doctor. Okay, you're in Kolel, you're learning, and they're supporting $1,000 a month. What are you going to do with that? You can't do anything with $1,000 a month, right? You need a little more. So you go in the morning, you hustle a little bit, you teach before Shaharit, you make another 500. You teach in the night for an hour, another 500, 700. You're at 2,000. Then you teach, if you're lucky, you get a good Shabbat job, giving a class, and you make another 500. So you're 2,500, 2,700 a month. Maybe you get help from the parents, the in-laws, and that's what you're living off of. So I remember, I was teaching in a synagogue. They were paying me to do like a class, and then to give a class after Shahari, after Minyan on Shabbat. Okay, so 2 classes. Anyways, I got a opportunity to go and run a high school Minyan for the Flatbush boys and girls that I was a teacher at. So I took it, and because of the job, I was no longer able to go in the first place. It was either or. It was the same time. So I had to quit the first job, and I told them, and they understood. Now, the class that I gave before Shaharit at 8 o'clock a.m. was a class that we did every Shabbat, once a week on Navi. Amazing class. Remember the boys, they're like, Rabbi, what a sick class. We know you're leaving. We're sad to see you leave, but are we going to at least have this class? Do you have time to come and give us this class in the morning at 8 o'clock on Shabbat? And the truth is, it didn't collide with my schedule. I was able to give that class at 8 o'clock and then go to the second place where I was running the high school minyan. But the synagogue wasn't interested in paying me for just that class. They said either you're with us or you're not, and if you're not, we respect you. But we're looking for a rabbi that's going to be with us, the whole time. So I'm going to be waking up early to give a class that I'm not getting paid for. So I remember I asked Rabbi Prague, my rabbi, I asked him the question, and Rabbi Prague looked at me, and he said, "Oy vavoy, don't even think of not giving that class." I'm like, "But Rabbi, I'm not getting paid for it, and I'm also going to wake up now a whole hour and a half earlier than I'm supposed to, and instead of spending time with my kids in the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to have to rush out to the shul, and he said, Rav Mizrahi, don't even think of giving up this hour class that you give. This class is the hour that keeps you altruistic the entire week. This 1 hour is what's going to make sure that you remain lishma. That 1 hour that you're not getting, or else you fall very quickly. Because it ends up becoming a job. You get paid for it. You get honor. Make sure you have to have a small party a day that you're doing it for free, or else you're going to lose everything. And he was 100% right. It was the best thing that I did. It was very important. Stayed, and I went every Shabbat early. I gave a class for an hour, prepared. It's not just giving the class. I don't know if you realize, okay? Giving a class is a half hour, 45 minutes. What's this class right here? But the time before preparing the class, that's time. It consumes a big party of Friday. And I did it every week, and it was the best thing that I ever did. Because it's things like that that keep us grounded. It keeps us tahara, purity. We need things like that, okay? So we have to all find a small island in our day that we're doing things with pure thought, okay? Again, for many of you, this could be that. This class is beautiful, okay? We could do chesed that no one knows about. Again, once a week, something small, because a lot of the things that we do, we get recognized for, and we need that. We need the recognition. Okay, but to keep us a little bit tahara, because why? I'll tell you why. There's one big difference between the mashal of the diamonds that I gave you, and the guy who does a mitzvah who's not altruistic. Okay, the difference is that a diamond that has a crack, that crack is static. That crack is not growing, it's not moving, it's not changing. The crack is the crack. But a person that has lo lishma in their day, if they're lacking purity in their mitzvot, that's going to grow. So we have to make sure that we keep it contained and that we're doing something else to counter that potential growth in the wrong way. Okay? Now, this is the midah of tahara. Why am I telling all this to you? Again, it's nice, we get in the class here, but just to bring it a little bit into the Parashat. We know Abraham separates from his nephew Lot. Lot goes to Sodom, and Abraham stays in Israel. And there's a lot to talk about over here. But eventually, actually, Lot is caught in the middle of a war between 4 and 5 countries. And he ends up getting captured. And the Pasuk tells us that a man came from the battle, and he tells Abraham that his nephew Lot is in danger. So Abraham runs, he rescues Lot with 318 men. They single-handedly fight 4 major armies, and they defeat them all. And he rescues back Lot and everyone else. Beautiful. Who was this mysterious man that told Abraham that his nephew was in danger? So very good. Like someone's writing on the side. Our rabbis tell us that that man, the refugee, was Og. Ever heard of Og? Og was a giant. He was later on known as the king of Bashan. And Og, he's found often throughout our literature. A lot of midrashim about Og. But our rabbis tell us that Og was this man who warns Abraham that his nephew is in danger. And because of this mitzvah that Og did, many years later, when the Jewish people were in the desert traveling and they're on the border of Israel and they're conquering all the territories in the Transjordan, on the east side of the Jordan River, they're conquering every single country, and when they finally got to Og and the people that they were of Bashan, Moshe was afraid. Moshe said, "Oh no," he was very afraid of fighting him. Now Moshe, strong, they have God, who's God. Okay, so what's he worried about? What's Moshe worried about? They have Hashem. Does he lack emunah? You defeated everyone already. Our rabbis tell us over there, Rashi says that Moshe was afraid that maybe Og had zechut. Og had a merit. Maybe Og had one extra mitzvah that was going to save him from being defeated by the Jewish people. Which mitzvah does Og have? Og has this mitzvah that he rescued Lot. He rescues Lot. And he tells Abraham about Lot, and all of that, everything is going to accrue to Og's account. And so Moshe is very worried that maybe Og will defeat us because of what he did hundreds of years ago with Lot. And God has to reassure Moshe, don't worry, you're going to win, you're going to defeat Og. What's amazing, and our rabbis point this out, why does Og rescue Lot? What was Og's motivation? Was Og tahor? Was he pure in his motivation for the mitzvot? Did he do it lishma? Did he do it for the right reason? No, he did not. Our rabbis tell us that deep down in his subconscious, Og was interested in Sarah. But Sarah's married. So what do? How do you take care of a married lady? You get her unmarried. How do you get her unmarried? They don't want a divorce. So he says, let me send Avraham into the war zone. Avraham will go to rescue Lot, and he'll die, and I'll have Sarah for myself. I'm always reminded when I think of this, of the movie The Lion King. You ever saw The Lion King? Okay, I don't know if you ever saw it. Disney? Yeah, any Disney fans? So you have you have Mufasa, who's the good guy, the good king. You have his brother Scar, who's very jealous of his brother, who's the king. Okay, nothing's new. So Scar wants to kill Mufasa so that he can become the king. So what does he do? How does he get Mufasa to get killed? So he sends Mufasa's son, Simba, into a big stampede, and he warns and he says, "Hey Mufasa, Simba's gonna get killed." And Mufasa runs and he rescues Simba. He throws him back on top of the mountain, safety, and Mufasa dies. Right? This is literally, where do you think they got it from? They got it from Og. They read the story of Og and they probably got it from there. But what's amazing is that even though Og has negative intention, he wants Abraham to die so that he can marry Sarah, still Moshe is worried. Moshe is afraid. Still, he maybe have a little bit of a merit, and that could defeat the Jewish people hundreds of years later in the desert. Look how powerful the mitzvot are. Even the mitzvot that we do for the wrong reason, and we just spent so much time talking about tahara. Even if you don't have it, and we have to work on getting it, but even if our motivation is completely off, to kill Avraham Avinu, God never hides the reward that is ours and that we deserve. It's all waiting, and it's all going to be coming to us. Look how important the mitzvot are. And again, my class today is that we shouldn't do it for the reward, but we need to work on getting there. And in the meantime, look how powerful the mitzvot are. So if there's mitzvot that we're not doing, or we're not sure if we should start doing them, or maybe we're a little bit hesitant, or a little bit hard, let this be a motivation. Let this be the wrong motivation, but it's a motivation. En hakadosh baruch hu mekapeach schar kol beriah. God never hides from us the reward that is rightfully ours. We should be zocheh to attain purity, and in the meantime, working on lo lishma till we get there. Okay, we'll stop over here. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.